Recording in progress.
Call to order the regular meeting of the Dell City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Barnes?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter?
Here.
Councilmember Orr?
Here.
Councilmember Wilson?
Here.
Councilmember Woodall?
We came out of closed session with nothing to report out. No actions taken. And now can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council and on matters not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or its staff is not allowed under the Ralph M. Brown Act. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. What you got, Rich?
Nothing.
Okay.
You caught me in pride.
Any emails?
No.
Then we will close public presentations and move to the consent calendar. Is there anyone who would like to remove an item from the consent calendar? Okay. Then is there a motion to accept the consent calendar?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We vote. Julie?
Oh.
Motion carries 5-0. Now we move on to city manager and staff updates, page 23 in our packets. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor Barnes, members of the council. So I just want to thank Derek Taylor and Sunshine Kelly for getting the chlorine generator installed. Still a couple little components to put together, like the hot water heater and whatnot, but that was the chlorine generator down at the wastewater treatment plant was damaged during the earthquake, and it is just another example of some of the repair work that is ongoing and will continue to be ongoing. Also, you may have noticed that 70 Wildwood Avenue, aka Mingo's, has completed their facade project, and that was also a project in the facade improvement project. So we had 3 total facade improvement projects over the course of the last 2 fiscal years or year and a half. And that will be the final one for round 1. So the next phase for that is to go back through the grant guidelines and come back to the council to see if we want to offer round 2 in a modified form or a different type of system. So the program, certainly we're hoping to get more properties involved, and certainly there were others that never took advantage of the program and did their own enhancements on their own. But we certainly want to look at it, and if there were reasons that people were not able to participate, to see if we can get round 2 to be more applicable for those needs. Staff is continuing to review and monitor plans for cannabis cultivation expansion, both in our business park, the Humboldt Business Park, and the Dinsmore Plateau. We do have several new developments that could be online by the end of 2024. And these are pretty substantive and interesting projects that we're very excited to be watching. Staff will also be distributing an EDDM postcard through USPS over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Of course, the mail will probably be very slow, but we want to advise residents to avoid disposing of fats, oils, or grease into the sewer system. We do have quite a bit of that material in the system, which causes a significant problem. And then on on January 23rd, 2024 will be the homelessness point in time count that annually has been occurring for about 3 or 4 years. And the city staff has been pretty acutely or significantly involved in those point in time counts. But we certainly want to get interested volunteers to participate in that. And it's a county-wide point in time count where folks go using an app on their phone, identify individuals experiencing homelessness all at the same time across the county. And then that gets placed into a larger statistical database to kind of gauge what's going on, not just in Humboldt County, actually, but statewide. So anybody interested in participating in that count, it does start a little early at 6 a.m., but if anybody interested in participating in that, feel free to contact me. With that, unless there's any other questions, I'm happy to try to answer questions from the council.
Thank you, City Manager, and thank you too for everything. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you also to Derek and Sunshine, and the controls are in a better place. Yeah.
The chlorine generator?
Yes.
Yes, we make some modifications.
Like it's less dangerous now.
Correct.
And then thank you about the fats, oils, and greases. I think that is a good thing to put out there. Should we put it on the sign?
We should, yeah.
We should put it on the sign. Okay. All right. That's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Little.
Just thank everybody. There's been a lot going on, and thanks for the work that well, you know, I drive around a lot, and they're always out doing something. I mean, I see them all over the city, which is a good sign. I like it. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Nor.
No questions from me.
Councilmember Wilson.
No question.
And I have no questions, but thanks to, you had some cones, they were very helpful. The cops were driving around on Saturday and saw us out there at the Christmas tree, and we were having some really whiz by drivers. So I called up, I said, you know, you guys have some cones or flags, and they brought some down, and it was really appreciated. And it really actually helped. Yeah. Because you just had that orange cone and you just kind of do like this, and people kind of respond to the orange cone. So that was nice. I appreciated that. Yeah. And are there any emails or hands raised? Anything? Okay. Then thank you to staff for everything. And we will close that section and move on to Annual Financial Report for fiscal year 2022-23, page 29 in our packets. I think that's you, Travis. I think you're on.
I'm very happy to turn this over to
the manager. Good evening, Mayor Garnes and members of the City Council. The annual financial report summarizes and analyzes the financial performance of the city for fiscal year 2022-2023. Details of the report describe revenues and expenditures incurred during the fiscal year and explains material differences between the values and adjusted budget. Financial reserves and fund balances are also updated in the premise of the fiscal year. This report was created using unaudited financials as of June 30th, 2023. The official audit will be finalized in early 2024. The city has three main fund types in which its finances are consolidated within. The general fund, enterprise funds consisting of sewer and water, and special revenue funds. Overall, city revenues exceeded expenses by just over $44,000. This is principally due to the remainder of the city's ARPA revenues reported but yet to be expended at a sum of $400,000. This slide compares actual revenues and expenses to the budgeted amount for major funds. Revenue amongst major funds were at 3.5% higher than estimated. Water and sewer reported increased revenues in part to an increase in grant-funded sewer studies and reimbursements received from claims associated with the December 2022 earthquake. Total expenditures among the major funds were under budget by less than 1%. General fund expenditures were lower than budgeted by 14%, primarily due to budgeted capital projects not completed. Increases in water and sewer expenditures were attributed to both emergency and ongoing earthquake expenditures. Fund balances for the city totaled over $10.1 million as of the end of the fiscal year, a decrease of approximately 6%. The city expects total fund balances to decrease over the current fiscal year as ARPA revenues are expended and large grant projects are completed. General fund revenues were roughly 3% less than budgeted. Retail sales tax revenues were down over 30% from budgeted estimates and $125,000 year over year. This issue is not localized to just Dell. The state of California has seen across-the-board decreases in sales tax revenues, due in large part to a sluggish California economy, higher than anticipated interest rates, and unwavering inflationary concerns. The city recorded higher than anticipated cannabis revenues, 20% over budgeted amounts, along with reimbursements from the state and Cal OES for claims submitted for specific earthquake expenses included in the other revenue section. City major fund revenues were $1.39 million for fiscal year 2022-23, with property taxes and vehicle license fees and retail sales tax bringing in over $471,000 and $563,000 respectively. General fund expenditures were $1.86 million, or $316,000 under budget, due to capital projects budgeted and not completed, and generally lower department spending. General government department recorded expenses $82,556 over budget. This was due to the general government department absorbing a large portion of the earthquake expenses allocated to the general fund. Street revenues were more than budget by 7%, primarily due to higher actual TDA revenues received. Actual expenditures were 11% below budget due to capital projects not completed. The street funds consist of gas tax, SB run road maintenance, TDA funds, and RSTP revenues and expenditures. Actual revenues for the sewer enterprise fund were 4% more than budgeted, with expenditures 14% higher than the budgeted allocation. This variance is contributed to expenses directly attributed to the earthquake, along with increased energy costs for the sewer department. The sewer fund balance decreased by $276,000, or 17% less than the estimated at the time of the 2022-23 budget development. Actual revenues for the water enterprise fund were 8% more than budgeted, with expenditures 5% more than budgeted. The variance in Water Capital Fund 062 is directly related to emergency earthquake expenditures, while the water operations was mainly lower due to salary savings due to lack of staffing during the first half of the year. Water fund balances decreased by 19% more than estimated at the time of the 2022-23 budget development. Other major funds included in the Special Revenues Fund include the Building Fund, the Supplemental Law Enforcement Services Fund, and the CDBG Fund. The Building Fund receives a general fund transfer annually to cover excess expenditures over revenues. The Supplemental Law Enforcement Services Fund is used to supplement law enforcement services such as salary and benefit costs. The CDBG Fund had a balance of $571,688. These funds are currently under contract with the County of Humboldt to offer loans to qualified applicants impacted by the 2022 earthquake disaster. A new section of the annual financial report is the financial impact of the December 2022 earthquake disaster. The city is working together with our partners at Cal OES to file claims for reimbursement related to earthquake damages in the community. The city is entitled to a 75% reimbursement for qualified expenses, with the opportunity to request 100% reimbursement on a project-per-project basis. During fiscal year 2022-23, the city incurred over $562,000 in earthquake-related expenditures, split between the general fund, 19%, sewer, 54%, and the water enterprise fund at 27%. Of these items, the city has submitted reimbursement claims for 6 items and have received reimbursement for 3 in the amount of over $177,000. The master earthquake list provides, the master earthquake list of projects has a cost estimate of nearly $36 million. The city's 25% cost share, if no additional reimbursements are granted, will be just under $9 million. I'd like to thank you for your time this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Thank you very much, Travis. There's a lot of information there. We'll go to council, Councilmember Wilson.
You know, on the sales tax difference where it's down quite a bit. Is that due to, I think you said it, interest is not interest rates, but what is, is that including we have the other major on top of that, the 3/4%. Are we currently receiving that 3/4%?
It's still 1% at this point. It will go to 3/4% as of 2024 when the measure is enacted.
January?
Yeah. This has more so to do with, it was budgeted quite high, and also in addition to just the economic climate of the sales tax revenues lower across the state in general. So Dell is certainly not alone in this predicament. Cities and towns across the state of California are seeing decreases. The state of California itself saw a 30% reduction in their sales tax. And so this is just a factor that has many factors, including inflation, not allowing the spending power of people in the community to spend on goods and for the city to collect those tax revenues. Also just an increase in inflation, the interest rate, these are all factors that contribute just to lower spending. And so that's a major contributing factor to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Orr.
That actually answered my question.
Thank you, Councilmember Will.
On the earthquake impacts, when they're picking up 75 and leaving 25, and we might be able to pick up the 25%. How long can those trickle in? I mean, can we 4 years from now be getting refunds? Or
I think so. You know, we try to take care of each list of items one at a time and close them out. So once we complete a project, we'll submit for reimbursement. And once the project's approved by the state, then we'll get that 75% return.
okay, so it could take a while.
After that, the city manager has been reaching out to Cal OES and the state stakeholders and requesting that additional 100%. And so at this time, we don't know when that determination would come through, and we've had meetings with Cal OES reps. They've said they don't have an answer as well. So, it's hard to predict, but we're going to continue to reach out and we'll continue to follow up and try to, get every bit of reimbursement that we can, because the liability to the city is, as you can see, quite large. It'll definitely take some creative thinking to continue to progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
I have no questions, but thank you, Travis. I always appreciate your budget presentations. They are easy to understand, and I'm just glad it's not me working with all those numbers. Thank you for doing that. And that's it.
Thank you as well, and I agree with Mayor Pro Tem. I actually started out as an accounting major.
Oh, no.
I'm so glad I let it go and moved on to hazardous waste. Somehow we'll got accounting. Well, thank you so much, guys. Are there any questions? Mitch, you got anything?
Not for me.
Okay, any hands raised? Any emails? Then we will say thank you finally and move on, close that item. Move on to the final item on the agenda, which is authorize and direct staff to remove the bear sculpture from Wildwood Avenue median.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. On October 4th of 2017, the city of Rio Dell executed the Wildwood Avenue sculpture agreement with an artist. That agreement allowed the artist a period of 5 years to display up to 4 council-approved sculptures for sale. And after that period of time passed, with unsold sculptures, those sculptures would become the property of the city of Rio Dell. So on October 4th, 2018, the final sculpture of a bear was placed on the northern end of Wildwood Avenue. So now, being November of 2023, over 5 years have now passed since the placement of the final sculpture. And per the agreement, the sculptures are now the property of the city of Rio Dell. And so Mayor Garnes has requested that an item be placed on the agenda to have specifically the bear sculpture removed, or the other remaining sculptures would remain in their place. At this time, there is no plan for replacement of a sculpture in that particular location, or a plan for what to do with the current bear sculpture. However, we will place it in the corporation yard for potential future placement, potentially along the trail or other location or other dispensation of the bears.
Yeah, thank you. And that bear drives me crazy. It's one of the few that we haven't gotten real compliments on. It's, right after we asked the artist to come and shift it a little bit, so its rear end wasn't like here, Rio Dell. So, but he refused for whatever reason to do that. And so it is just my hope that we can remove the bear from the median, and whatever happens, but in this place, of course, we have a lot of trees.
Yeah.
We need to have space for, so that would be a good space there. So that was why I asked the city manager to bring it to the council. So now it's up to the council. Councilmember Woodall?
Well, I never liked it, but if somebody has a real strong feeling about it, that's one thing, but I would be fine with removing it. In fact, I would be fine with removing almost all. So,
Councilmember Orr?
Art being subjective, I'm not gonna pass judgment on it, but I think trees would be very nice there.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
I'm okay, moving it. It could be cool along the trail or something at some point, it'll be repurposed. But yeah, we have other stuff more, with a different aesthetic planned for that area. So I'm okay to get rid of it.
Councilmember Wilson?
Yeah, I keep forgetting to bring that up, to put it on the agenda, which you did. And along some of the sculptures I thought were pretty nice, the smaller ones down in town are good. This one, it's really hard to even figure out what it is. And as far as a place to store it, I know that art is an objective, Mr. Orr says, but my objective assessment would be to store it. There's a lot more of its kind, which would be more fragile, is where it belongs.
Or it's bear kind.
Yeah, it doesn't depict the bear, so I'm perfectly pleased to take it out over there and store it.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there you got anything, Rich?
What is wrong with it? Instead of what's right.
What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Well,
It
tell me all this stuff.
looks like this looks like a conglomerate of scrap metal, but where the other ones you can go by and see that, the hawk, the owl was an owl, the cougars, the buffalo, you can figure out that he's trying to be he's a buffalo and he's got horns, and but this thing here, because of it just looks like a bunch of scrap metal welded together, and it doesn't, you don't see a bear when you see it.
To me, it looks kinetic.
Pardon
It's not kinetic.
No, it's pretty static.
Yeah.
me?
Well, I haven't walked up and met, introduced myself.
Well,
No, I just think it's, I think it's really undiscernible to me. That's, again, it's an objective. But very undiscernible what it even is versus when I look at some of the other cultures, I know what they are. And I think they're quite creative, particularly the Buffalo, I think. They have pretty creative little character. That's my opinion.
anything else? Oh, thank you. Oh, no, dude, fine. That's what you're here for.
And you can put it in your front yard. You want it.
You want it?
Yeah, then I'll
We can give it.
remove it. Put it on a pedestal and dig a hole on it.
Add that.
Roof. Yeah.
Any hand raised? Any emails?
We did get one.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mute now. To the Reedale City Council, I don't understand why after the sculpture has been with us for such a long time, you would decide now to have it removed. It has become part of our main drag and a great representation of what was our local wildlife. We were once known for the salmon in our rivers and the bears on the California lake, for goodness sake. I, for one, do not want to see Old Smoky leave us. Please vote to leave our bear friend where he is, greeting people as they enter Rio Dell on this little section of still wild Eel River with its long gone salmon. Thank you for giving me this time, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. That's the only note we received.
Very well written. Email. Is it who it was?
No.
No.
Well, we'll just move it closer to the.
Yeah, I like the order idea, actually.
Yeah.
So is there, do we need a motion or do we?
Yeah, you just make the staff recommend a motion to have
Okay, is there a motion to authorize and direct the staff to remove this bear sculpture?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Motion carries 5-0. And that brings us to council reports. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, well, it is Christmas time. It's Christmas time. Saturday, December 2nd is our tree lighting. I think it's in the range of, 5 p.m., 5 to 7. That is a truck parade and a tree lighting, and Santa will be there, and it's a really, really good time. And I highly urge people to come on out. The day before that, Friday the 1st, is the Chamber of Commerce meeting at noon. I'll go to that. And there are 5,000 Christmas events happening in the general county, but that's our Rio Dell ones. Saturday, December 2nd, 5 p.m. Thank you. That's
The chamber at noon on the 1st.
Chamber at noon on December 1st. It's either there or in Nick's office, the archaeology building there.
1, 2, 5 to 7. It's,
And that's the tree lighting. Yeah, so I think the parade will start at 5 and then wait for it to be fully dark to.
Right.
And look, it is a kids event. It was really, really good last year. It was our first year since Sarah Reback took over that building. And she did a bang up job. The little kids make your own ornaments, kind of a thing. There's always treats and tea, and it's a fun thing. So I'll be there.
all right. Be there, be square. Thank you. Councilman Rohr?
I have nothing to report. HCOG wasn't able to make it to that, had parent conferences at school. I'm hoping to get to the next one this month if they have.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
I don't have any, we had HWMA and RCA, but there's nothing to report for them.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Woodall?
Yes, I just want to read this because I never remember all of it to thank people. It was in the Rio Dell Scotia Chamber of Commerce thread. And it said many hands, it's about the lighting of the bridge. And many hands make light work. Deep thanks to the fire department, Chief Shane Wilson and some of his crew took over decorating the bridge today. And to the West Nally family who bring their experience, traffic control license, and signage to professionally manage the traffic on the bridge as the lights are being put up and taken down. The tree was donated by Humboldt Redwood Company and is up on the medium at Wildwood and at the Columbus. Let's see. The tree lighting will be December 2nd from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Wildwood. And I just wanted to thank all those people because it was a pretty impressive project, watching them do that. And what you already brought up, I drove up Wildwood on Saturday, and there was Deborah and Nick in the drizzle, and it was not a short project. And I want to thank you guys because that was quite something for two people to do that day. So that was it. Thank you.
And
have a nice Thanksgiving.
Bridge too.
Oh,
I saw Fred out there.
Who is it? Fred
Fred Breckenridge.
oh, I wondered who the third.
That's Fred Breckenridge.
Yeah. And he was out on the bridge as well.
Okay.
He was the one holding the lights. So anyway, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody. Have a really, really wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see you in a couple of weeks is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We will see you in a couple of weeks on December 10th at 6 o'clock. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.